Hello everyone, and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. It's P5S from a healer's POV here in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm going to show you how to navigate the entire fight featuring mythic creation, Proto Carbuncle. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Now, what are we going to do a little differently than what you've seen in other videos? I'm going to take you through the entire fight, watching mechanic after mechanic after mechanic, in my opinion, can make a fight seem really overwhelming. So we're just going to highlight the entirety of the fight so that you can see exactly what's happening. First up, Sonic Howl. That is going to be a raid wide. You're going to make sure that you're mitigating with heals and shields. Ruby Glow is going to be a harder hitting raid wide, so save your crit shield for that if you're a scholar. Otherwise, white mages and astros, be ready to just pump up some healing. Topaz stones is going to drop 2 yellow stones and 2 green stones. The yellow stones will reflect inside of their quadrants when the green stones are going to be growing. Now, you're going to look for the quadrant that does not have any yellow stones, and you're also going to look for the quadrant that either doesn't have a green stone or the green stone is positioned towards the middle of the battle arena. In that instance, you're going to run as far as you can to the corner of that quadrant in order to ensure that you don't take any damage. Now, we have the 2 tank busters going out. You're going to want to make sure that you tank swap. These do leave poison on each of the tanks, so healers, just be aware. Now, puddles. If you are a tank, you're going to stand in puddle A, B, or C, prioritizing A. If you are melee, you're going to go backwards, D, C, B. If you're a healer, you're going to prioritize 1, 2, 3. If you are a ranged, you're going to prioritize 4, 3, 2. That just keeps things simple. Venomous Mass, again, is the tank buster. This does leave a rather large AoE around the main tank, so please, please, please make sure you are not crowding the main tank when that goes off. However, Toxic Crunch, on the other hand, does not commit to an AoE in any way, shape, or form, so you may be near the off tank, who then becomes the main tank as Toxic Crunch is executing. Here we have Ruby Glow number 2. This will separate the field into 2 quadrants, and Topaz Stones is going to summon 1 green stone and 1 yellow stone. We're going to make sure the team finds their way to the side with the yellow stone, as you see here. And Double Rush, because Proto Carbuncle is charging off to the left, we're going to stand on the right. You're going to make sure you use your knockback immunity. This is so important. If you don't use it, you will die. Make sure you don't cross over into the unsafe quadrant where the yellow stone is exploding. Had he ran the other way, you would have needed to stand on the side of the quadrant that had the yellow stone, and after he dashed, you would have to move. Okay? Do not forget that. That's very important. Now we have Ruby Glow 3 going out here. This is a little more challenging than what you just saw. You're going to get 4 quadrants and topaz clusters. Pay attention to the order in which these topaz clusters fall. You see 3 and 1 are unsafe to begin with, then 2 and 4 are going to become unsafe. Now you see a crystal fell in every quadrant except 4. Remember that, because we're going to go here, over to A, over to 4, and then we're going to always run diagonally. So you'll notice that that 3rd quadrant that we ran to was the one that didn't get the 3rd topaz stone that dropped inside of that quadrant. And then every time, without fail, no matter what, the quadrant diagonal from that 3rd safe quadrant is always going to be the safe quadrant. So just keep that in mind. Tank busters go out again once more. And next is either going to be Venom Surge or Venom Squall. Here we have Surge, so we're going to get into our light parties. Light party 1 goes to D, light party 2 goes to B, like boy. After the Venom drops, we're going to run to the middle to drop and bait puddles, and then you're going to run to your clock spot, which you've decided at the beginning of the fight. If it were to be Squall, it would just be the opposite. You'd run to your clock spot, bait in the middle, and then you would stack into your light parties. Here we have Claw to Tail. We're going to get 6 claw swipes out in front of the boss. Just use the arrow indicators on the side of the boss to figure out where those are going to emanate from. After the 6 swipes, you're going to get in front because he's going to do a tail swipe behind him. Now we're into Devour phase. A lot of people claim that this is really tricky. Be mindful of the patterns. It went once out, came back, and now it's going around. Mind you, notice how it's not circling the top left-hand corner of the screen. That's going to be our safe zone. So he's going to jump twice, and we're going to run. We're going to run. Now 4 is the safe zone because he doesn't come back and touch this again. But I know that I need to get to B because I'm the healer. And this is going to be A, B, C, D, tanks, healers, melee, ranged. Every single time. Tanks, you're going to choose one of you at the beginning of the fight to soak that with your tank buster, or with your invuln, excuse me. The other tank is going to stay off the puddle because you need to summon one ad during those puddles for Proto Carbuncle to eat, otherwise the entire raid is going to wipe. Here we have the next Ruby Glow. I believe this is Ruby Glow 4. Again, we are separating the field into 2 quadrants. He's going to summon 3 yellow topaz stones on one side of the field and 2 on the other. You're going to go to the quadrant with 2. If you are in Light Party 2, you're going to go to the yellow stone that is further away. If you're in Light Party 1, you're going to go to the yellow topaz stone that's touching the separator. And you're going to make sure you drop those Venom Pulls. Here he's casting Searing Ray. That means you're going to want to stand opposite. If he was casting Raging Claws, you wouldn't get behind him because that's a physical attack that's not going to reflect off of the wall. We're going to have another Venomous Mass Tank Buster. Make sure you stay away from the main tank. Everybody's doing really good with that so far this run. Toxic Crunch, again, it does not matter. And here we have Ruby Glow. This is Ruby 5. This one's a little more complex. You're going to look to see, I was Light Party 1, so I was either south or west. The quadrants with the yellow topaz stones are always unsafe, so we're going to run to the side of the safe quadrant that's not going to be affected by the green mass. We're going to wait till it explodes, and then we're going to run into our respective positions to drop our puddles. Everyone's going to convene on the healer, and then we're going to run into this little safe zone right next to the boss, make sure everybody's topped up and healed and good to go, and we continue on with the fight. This is puddle prioritization again. Tanks ABC, melee DCB, healers 1, 2, 3, ranged 4, 3, 2. Claw to tail, make sure you are behind the arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, get in front. Getting our friendly DPS back up off the floor. Venomous Mass, get away from the main tank, please. Toxic Crunch. Hug your off tank if you care to. Show him a little love. Sonic Howl, this again is a raid wide. Ruby Glow, a harder hitting raid wide. This is Ruby 6. This one's not too terrible. You're going to look for the quadrant with 3 yellow topaz stones, and you're going to run to the one diagonal from it. So you can see here, quadrant 1 has 3, so we're all going to go to 3. And just like we did with the previous Ruby Glow, we're going to drop those Venom Pulls onto the 2 yellow topazes to destroy them so that we don't die. He's casting Double Rush. We're going to be behind him depending on which side he's on. Use your anti-knockback. Make sure you don't get knocked back into the ooze. Heal everybody up. And again, Tank Busters, get away from the main tank. Sonic Howl, once again, raid-wide AoE. Shield and heal. And now we have Venom Squall. This is the inverse of what we saw earlier with Venom Surge. So everyone's going to run to their respective clock spots. You're going to get an ooze puddle dropped on you. You're going to run to the middle with everybody and bait, and then back into light parties. So again, it's just the reverse of Venom Surge. Claw to tail. Make sure you are standing behind. If it's tail to claw, of course you're going to stand in front first, and he will not swipe his tail 6 times. He will still only swipe it once. And after he swipes his tail, you're going to want to get behind him to avoid the claws. So again, we have Venomous Mass. Got our LB3 going out there from our fabulous DPS. Toxic Crunch. And just like that, Proto Carbuncle is down for the count. Now the only thing you're going to miss here is at the end of the fight before Enrage, he does go into a bit of a hyper voice mode, and he starts shouting, and everyone's taking a lot of DPS, or a lot of damage, excuse me. Healers need to make sure that they're excessively topping up, because it gets a little hairy if you don't. That is it for P5S. Thank you for joining me for the first video. I know it was a little scattered and all over the place, not a whole lot of editing. This is just to get a video onto the website and, you know, kind of get my name started on YouTube. I do stream on Twitch. That's www.twitch.tv/Nukes, Dnukkes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in next time. Take care.